on WMUN 92.5 FM, 1340 AM, and the Gainbridge Ball State Cardinals Sports Network. Welcome to This Week in Ball State Sports, highlighting the Cardinal teams, administration, alumni, and community. Now here's the voice of the Cardinals, your host, Mick Tidrow.
Good morning and happy Thursday here on This Week in Ball State Sports. We are excited to talk Ball State sports with you here each and every Thursday from 9 to 9:30 right here on WMUN. And a great show lined up here today. Director of Athletics Jeff Mitchell joins us at the end of the show. We'll bring in women's golf coach Cam Andry after some record-breaking performances in Arkansas. But first, starting us off, head coach Mike Uremovich. Coach, appreciate your time before you get out on the football practice field here on a Thursday morning. It's crispy. It's not even 40 degrees yet today.
We got to dress warm today, that's for sure.
Do you have an extra coat that you put on top of the sweater?
Yeah, I'll just layer up underneath my sweatshirt.
I love it. Coach, when you're looking at last game against Akron on homecoming, such a fun performance for you guys. How would you describe the lightning delay time that you spent with the team before going back out there?
It's just, we approach it like, we're always talking about dealing with adversity, whether it comes in the game or off the field in life or whatever it is. And that was just an adversity that we had to deal with as a team. We had to go in the locker room, and our staff, we had talked about it during the week because we saw that there could be lightning. So we were prepared. We brought in extra food. The guys were in the locker room, hydrating and eating, and then the staffs met for a time and then went back in and met with the players. The weird thing about it is you come out of there and you warm up, and then they put the ball on the 1 yard line, and it's like, go play. That was the weird thing is, we had to be ready to go to defend that play, and that was one of the biggest plays in the game.
How much did you all talk about, okay, it's 3rd and 1 from the goal line? Or was it just the guys
that's what they were talking about as a defense, and you have all that time. They're going through every single possible play they could run and every trick play they had ran and all this other stuff, and then they just tried to run inside zone and run it up the middle. So, and offensively, we went through all these different scenarios. If they score a touchdown here, okay, now it's a 3-point game. If we hold them to 7 and then we get the ball back, we need another field goal to make it 2 scores. So, we were talking about all these different calls that we could get to because you're working the whole time. You're not just going to sit there. You want to take advantage of the time. How
many bags of fruit snacks were consumed during that lightning delay?
A lot of fruit snacks. I would say probably more by the staff than the players.
Really?
They had fruit snacks. They had applesauce. They had string cheese, Gatorade. They had all the snacks in the locker room, and then they brought it into the offensive and defensive staff rooms. I didn't eat anything, if you're asking.
Man, I'll tell you, I don't know what about fruit snacks just sounds so good in the middle of a broadcast or in the middle of a game. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Yeah. Coach Uremovich joining us here live on This Week in Ball State Sports before a Thursday practice and Saturday's game against Northern Illinois. Coach, what did it say about your team to be able to get the stop on 3rd and goal from the 1 and then a kick return for a touchdown to put that game away?
Yeah, that was a big exchange right there. They holding them to 3 and then getting it to 14 on the next play. It really put them in a bind, obviously, having to score 2 touchdowns. So I just thought that, based on the way the play went, that our guys did a better job than they did of handling the break, of going in there and having to stop playing and then refocus back in and play and execute. And it was evident on the kickoff return because we had a bunch of obviously really good blocks. We had extra effort play by Eric to get down the field and get in front of the guy that maybe had a shot to get Horton. So we came out ready to play.
How awesome was it to see 2 interceptions late in that game after all those big plays happened to go out and get 2 more stops to just put it away?
It was great. We've been trying to get turnovers, and obviously we haven't gotten as many as we'd like. But to finally break through and get 2 picks there was great. Not the only negative is offensively after the first one. I wish we just could have not having to give the ball back to them, not having to punt again. But it was great to see the defense do that.
How did you see the true growth from your team from the Western Michigan game to last week against Akron?
Well, we've played good at home. We're going to find out if we've grown up this Saturday because we got to go on the road. So obviously to win a game in the 4th quarter again is something we talk about all the time, and that happened there. But we need to have a great practice today, a good walkthrough tomorrow, and then we need to go play well on the road. We've had a couple tough opponents on the road. I thought we did some good things at UConn, but obviously the last game that we played on the road, we did not execute very well in any manner in any phase of the game. So we have to be able to get to a fast start Saturday because Northern's a tough place to play. It'll be cold. It'll be windy. They're playing for their whole season. Obviously, there's a trophy on the line. There's all these other things outside of it, but we just need to go play well.
Hey, Coach Mike Uremovich joining us live on This Week in Ball State Sports. You mentioned it. It's the battle for the Bronze Stalk Week, Saturday, 3:30 Eastern Time, 2:30 Central Time kickoff in DeKalb against the Northern Illinois Huskies. Last matchup was MAC foes. Really weird to hear that said as they're heading to the Mountain West after this year. But, Coach, when you talk about this matchup with NIU, you talk about it being windy and cold, and that's just the way it is in October, November in these MAC games. What memories do you have most of being a coach for NIU that can help you in games like this?
Well, I can tell you that I am familiar with the wind conditions there, and no matter what it says, it's going to be windy, and it's never going to go the same direction the whole game. It'll be going one way in the first half, another way in the second half. So that will help. Obviously, just, and before we go on the road anywhere, we just had our travel meeting this morning, so we show the guys the locker room. We show them where it's at. We show them where we warm up at. We show them a map of everything, and obviously, we have a bunch of members on our staff that coach there and a few guys that played there. So we'll be familiar with it. But it's like anything else. Once you kick the ball off, I mean, you're playing a football game.
Sounds like there'll be a good Ball State Cardinals contingent making the trip.
Yeah, we got a bunch of staff members are from Chicago. And like I said, a bunch of us have coached and played there. So there'll be a bunch of families there. And it's the wives trip also. So the wives will be with us on this trip, which will be fun for them. So it'll be, hopefully we get a good turnout of fans up there.
Absolutely. Ball State football on the road against Northern Illinois. Battle for the Bronze Stalk. Saturday, 3:30 Eastern Time kickoff. The Cardinals on the road. Coach, when you look at this Northern Illinois team, you mentioned it, they are not having the season that they typically would want. They're 1-6, 0-3 in the conference, but they've played a lot of close games, and their offense seems to be starting to show some signs. What do you see when you turn on the tape offensively from them?
I really do believe they're one of the most talented teams in the league. When you just look at them personnel-wise, they've played really good defense. They have a very, very good defensive line. Big, strong, physical. They have talented linebackers. The one linebacker's leading the nation in total tackles in all of Division I football. And offensively, they did play their best game last week. They've kind of gone back and forth with quarterbacks. It looks like they settled on the older one. And they played their best game against Ohio last week. They really moved the ball well in the second half. They've had big plays on special teams. Their kick returners ran back a kick for a touchdown against Ohio. He went back to the 30-yard line. They're a very talented team that has just not got a break this year or made a break. But that stuff has a way of averaging out. So we have to go play our best game to go up there.
You mentioned quarterback situation for NIU. Josh Holst has been the guy that started last game, early in the season. They moved to Brady Davidson and then go back to Josh Holst. When you turn on the tape and see what Josh has, what do you see?
He can run. He's a talented runner. Doesn't mean he can't throw it because they got a couple good wide receivers, but they really do feature him and the running backs. And you've seen a bunch of Northern games before. They always have good backs. They have three of them, and two of them primarily will play, and then one's like a change-up speed guy. But the quarterback can run, so it's different, but it's not that dissimilar from Ohio, where they're going to run RPOs, they're going to try to get the quarterback on the edge, they're going to try to move the pocket, and then when everybody comes down in there to stop that, they're going to fake it and throw it down the field and try to take some shots.
You mentioned Quentin Erweiler, 83 tackles already through 7 games for NIU's defense. How do you get around a guy like that?
He did. The thing about him that's really impressive is he never slows down and he hardly ever comes off the field. To have that production, you have to play. Like, you can't be rotating, you can't be taking breaks. He's hardly ever out of there, and he never takes a play off. He's a really impressive player, very impressive player, physical, can run, strong. He's probably one of the best he is one of the best linebackers in the conference.
Well, Coach, we always appreciate your time before joining us on a Thursday morning before practice. Layer up, enjoy the crispy air out there. We'll talk with you soon.
We got to practice in it if we're going to play in it. We got a beautiful indoor, but we will be outside.
I love it. Appreciate you, Coach. Thank you.
All right. Thanks.
That's head coach Mike Uremovich joining us live on This Week in Ball State Sports. Always a fun conversation with Coach U, and it's his favorite type of weather. It's football weather. It's time to play some ball. Getting close to Halloween, almost November. It's action time in DeKalb on Saturday. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Women's golf coach Cam Andry joins us next live talking about some golf and some historic performances. That's next on This Week in Ball State Sports.
Behind every strong hip and knee. Behind every strong shoulder.
Good catch.
Behind every strong team. is our highly skilled team of experts in orthopedics. IU Health is the official healthcare and sports medicine provider of Ball State Athletics, and we're here to keep you moving. From acute injuries to chronic pain and conditions, go where the athletes go. Walk-in appointments for new injuries are available Monday through Friday from 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. And you can always schedule a same-day or next-day appointment and wait from the comfort of your home. Visit iuhealth.org/MuncieOrtho to learn more.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix, guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with lower prices on over 1,000 items. And you never compromise your appetite with our golden brown bread that's baked fresh in store. And you never compromise your wallet with our lower prices. Hand it to Kroger shoppers. You never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
And welcome back inside This Week in Ball State Sports, live every Thursday morning from 9 to 9:30 right here on WMUN. You can check us out on all replays. Just search This Week in Ball State Sports across wherever you get your podcasts. We are there for this game, or not this game, we're just always in game mode, for this broadcast or any of other previous shows. All right, next up, women's golf head coach Cam Andry joins us, not in Hot Springs Village, Arkansas now, that I think that are back. Cam, where are you at currently right now after that tournament?
Yeah, I'm over at the practice facility. We got back yesterday, so I wish we could have brought back some of that warm weather because we had great weather down there, but it is late October here, so we're getting what we're supposed to.
Yeah, that's a fact. Cam, congratulations on an awesome 3 days. The headline is Women's Golf ends fall slate with another program record. How proud of you are this group?
Yeah, very proud. I mean, they've earned everything they've gotten because of their hard work and their consistency, and they just show up every day and bring a great attitude and work hard. We were driving back after the tournament. My assistant coach looked over at me and just said, "Coach, this group is so much fun to be around." And I said, "Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Like they work hard, but they have a great time while they're doing it. They care a lot about each other, and they care deeply about the program and doing things the right way. So it's just a fun group to be around."
So, Coach, the opening event with the lowest round in program history, -6, a 282 on Sunday. That is an incredible way to open up a tournament. How would you describe how that set the tone for the entire situation?
Yeah, it was great. The golf course is one of our favorites. We've played this event the last 4 years, and it's a golf course where if you're on it, you can definitely score. But if you're off, then things can go the wrong direction. It's a golf course that we like because good shots are rewarded. What made that first round unique is that, we always play a practice round the day before, but the day before in Hot Springs Village, we were on the course for 2 holes, and then thunderstorms rolled in, and we were pulled off the golf course and didn't get a chance to play the course during the practice round. And so we had a couple of players in the lineup, Sabrina Langerak and Jenna Estravillo, who were playing this event for the very first time. And so they had not seen the golf course. We went over it in our yardage books, and, they took a lot of notes about, kind of what we were saying. And then they both went out and shot 2 under par, each of them that first round. And so now I'm thinking, should we never play practice rounds? I mean, maybe there's something to it. So that was really cool. They all played really well that first round.
In total, shaving off 3 strokes off the previous 50 full hole record by shooting 288. Coach, that's, you're getting to some territory there by saying, hey, do we want to have any practice rounds? I'm sure the players would be like, wait, hold on. What's that about?
Yeah, that's right. No, I do think, to be honest with you though, Mick, I do think that there's an element of it when you don't know the golf course, you can't get ahead of yourself, which is sometimes a tendency when you're playing well. You're like, oh man, I'm a couple under. If I could birdie that one, and then I got the par 5 coming up, and you start to get a little ahead of yourself, and then next thing you know, you hit a bad shot and make a bogey. So, I think for them, they really did just have to take it one shot at a time, which is what we're always preaching, but they were kind of forced to.
Head coach Cam Andry from Women's Golf joining us here on This Week in Ball State Sports, talking about the record-breaking performance to end the fall. Cam, to end the fall this way, how excited does that make you for what the spring can be?
Absolutely. I mean, it's everybody. We're all ready for a little break. Golf is one of those unique sports where it's almost year-round for us, and so they've been going hard since our first tournament back in February of last spring. And, they'd go right out of, postseason play for us and straight into their summer tournaments and come right out of that and straight into our fall slate. So it's been a good, almost 9-10 month run for these players. And so they're ready for a little break. But I also think because we played well, they're heading into this offseason knowing what we need to work on, but also understanding that, we could have a really, really special spring if we continue to do the right things and just make some small incremental improvements.
Cam, you mentioned some of the players that had a really good showcase with Sabrina and Jenna never having played that course. From an overarching growth standpoint, this is a team that has grown up together the last couple of years. We saw the individual title last year for Jasmine in the MAC tournament and the growth that this program has had throughout the course of the last few seasons. What type of growth are you seeing within this year particularly? Because you talk about it from a year-to-year basis, but with a veteran group like this, how are you seeing that just continue to move the needle to where you want it to be?
Well, I think one of the things that has been different about this season and that has really perpetuated the growth for us is we're seeing more depth, and so we've got more competition up and down the lineup. And Jenna is a junior, and she's played into some events, but this was actually her first time earning a spot in the top 5, and she's worked really hard. That's been a big goal of hers, and she did it. Now, what it also meant is that there were some players who were not in the lineup who have been staples in the lineup over the years. And it has less to do with, them not playing well and more to do with Jenna coming up and kind of taking that spot for this last event. And so I think that competition within the team, it can be hard on them because it's like, I gotta bring it every single day, but it also forces you to bring it every single day. And that's how you get better. So I think that's been something we've seen this year that has been a little different is, competition up and down the lineup has been stronger. I think Sophie, as a sophomore, a lot of times players make a big jump from freshman to sophomore year because they're comfortable, they know what to expect, and she's also just more comfortable in her own skin. And gosh, she's so funny. And last year we didn't really get to see all of that sometimes because she's just life's coming at her, 1,000 miles a minute with moving, from across in the Netherlands and language, all of those things. And so seeing her kind of come into her own and flourish this fall has been really fun too. And I think it's all, you put all those things together and you just get a really good vibe, a team that, feels great around one another, enjoys one another, and that helps you play well.
Women's golf head coach Cam Andry joining us live here on This Week in Ball State Sports, recapping the historic trip to Arkansas for this team. Coach, did you come back with a sunburn? You talk about the weather being nice.
I don't think I got a sunburn because I'm pretty well tan from being outside.
That's fair.
For the last few months. But it was beautiful. The other cool thing about that tournament is we stay with host families, and so we stay with the same people, year after year, and it's almost like you're going to your grandparents' house. It's a retirement community, so these host families, that's what they feel like is these players kind of become like surrogate grandkids to them, and so that made this event extra fun as well. And
you guys had that situation similar in Oklahoma with the Texas Tech trip, right?
We did, yeah. We got to hang out with JJ's family in Oklahoma when we were headed out there to Texas Tech, and we try to do those things, within our program. Golf is such a relational sport, and it's a sport that people play, until they can't move anymore. And so it's one of those sports that allows you to connect generationally, which I think is one of the things that makes the sport uniquely rewarding. And that was definitely the case this year. I mean, the host that I stayed with, the gentleman's name is Mark Hittner. He's won the club championship out at the club, like 4 or 5 years running. He's a great player, but he's also he's got a cool life experience. He's a NFL official as a career. He retired just a couple years ago, so he's got some great stories. It just makes for a really fun few days when you're not just in a hotel, but you're interacting with other people and building relationships. It's fun.
Women's golf head coach Cam Andry joining us here on This Week in Ball State Sports. Cam, really appreciate your time. Congratulations on all the records broken, and we cannot wait to see what this team does in the spring.
Thanks, Mick. Always appreciate everything you do. Go Cards.
That's Cam Andry joining us here on This Week in Ball State Sports. What a job from that squad out there in Arkansas. Women's golf team capturing its trifecta with the Tuesday afternoon finish and a program record 50 full whole score of -2. That's 862. -2. They were fourth out of the 18-team field. Just what a performance there from the women's golf program. All right, we'll step aside. One final segment. It's Director of Athletics Jeff Mitchell up next. We got a lot to recap, a lot to preview on This Week in Ball State Sports.
Behind every strong hip and knee. Behind every strong shoulder.
Good catch.
Behind every strong team is our highly skilled team of experts in orthopedics. IU Health is the official healthcare and sports medicine provider of Ball State Athletics, and we're here to keep you moving. From acute injuries to chronic pain and conditions, go where the athletes go. Walk-in appointments for new injuries are available Monday through Friday from 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. And you can always schedule a same-day or next-day appointment and wait from the comfort of your home. Visit iuhealth.org/MuncieOrtho to learn more.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix, guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with lower prices on over 1,000 items. And you never compromise your appetite with our golden brown bread that's baked fresh in store. And you never compromise your wallet with our lower prices. Hand it to Kroger shoppers. You never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Hope you're having a great Thursday morning here in Muncie, Indiana, and beyond, wherever you're listening. Thanks for tuning in to This Week in Ball State Sports. We've already talked with Coach Uremovich of Ball State football, Cam Andry from women's golf, and next up, Director of Athletics Jeff Mitchell to round out our Thursday morning show here on October 23rd. Jeff, appreciate your time as always. Hope you're doing well today.
Mick, thank you so much. Pleasure to be on with you.
Busy time of year. It's always a busy time of year once you hit August 1st, but right now in the thick of it with so many different sports happening right now, how are you keeping your calendar straight?
Day by day, Mick. Just like Coach Uremovich and Coach Andry have talked about, you got to bring it every day, and so it's a day by day cadence for us right now with so many moving parts. But I'm so proud of our student athletes right now and all that they are accomplishing competitively, and certainly they are continuing to do great things in the classroom and in the community. But our teams are playing really well right now. It's a lot of fun to support them and to watch them compete.
Jeff, the month of October only has 6 days where there's not a Ball State sporting event on that calendar, and today is one of those days. Yesterday was one of those days. This is the only week in October, the only 2-day stretch in October where there's not an event in back-to-back days. It's kind of weird to think about that as we get ready for this weekend and the push, but yesterday and today, 2 days where there's no events, there's so much prep and review that goes on during these 2 days, but I saw that and I thought that's wild in October.
Yeah, it is. And just to demonstrate, when you have 19 programs and all the different activities and competitions that our teams are engaged with, a lot of people don't understand, just how busy it can be within the life cycle of an athletics department and the burden that it puts on our staff. And the burden is not the right word. There's certainly joy to the work, but sometimes it's a lot, especially as we begin to enter into what is known as crossover season, when you're introducing the beginning of men's and women's basketball season, indoor track, and you've got swim and dive also in the mix, where there's more sports being introduced into our system during the rhythm of the calendar year than there are sports that are concluding their seasons.
Absolutely, yeah.
It ramps up a little bit as we head into the holidays, and again that's fun and exciting for our student athletes. But there's a lot of work that goes on not only during events but to prepare for events that not a lot of people see. And so to have a couple of days off, Mick, like you mentioned, that's good for our staff to catch our collective breath as we go into our winter sports that start here in the next couple of weeks, or in some cases have already started, and certainly as we look forward to the conclusion of our fall seasons as well.
Ball State Director of Athletics joining us live here on This Week in Ball State Sports. Jeff, you mentioned some of those sports coming up. Gymnastics and men's volleyball are also two sports that Ball State has that not every team in the conference of the Mid-American Conference have, and men's volleyball, of course, competes in the MIVA. It's so unique to see how Ball State operates within a sport-to-sport situation because of the 19 different programs. Not every university in the MAC has 19 sports, so to go to your point, there's a lot to make sure that everything's in line. Right now on October 23rd, you're talking about men's volleyball starting in January because of the prep, but then you've got the basketballs and gymnastics coming up. For you as the director of athletics, how do you make sure you're balancing that time in October to make sure that everybody's got the attention that they need and deserve?
Well, I think a lot of it is being diligent in how you go and, whether it's going to practice or going to a scrimmage game, whatever the case may be. And it's not as easy as it may seem. And I'm still trying to figure out ways to do a better job at making sure that I can be present at some of these activities. So I am looking forward to the gymnastics season and the volleyball season because you get to see those teams compete. It's harder to get to practices at this time of the year for those sports because you've got so many other active sports that are in season. I try to make it out to football every week for at least a few minutes of a practice. I try to make it to basketballs to see them practice a little bit, women's volleyball, and it's I try to fit it in within my schedule because my schedule is pretty full from the beginning of the day to the end of the day. And but the joy for me though is to go to these practices and I'm not there to be seen. Sometimes I just kind of like to sit in the upper reaches of the arena and just watch practice and just watch them compete, watch them practice, watch our coaches teach, and that just is a moment for me to decompress a little bit, and then inevitably I'll have to go and get on another phone call or go to another meeting. But the time of the day for me to slip away and go watch some of our student athletes enjoy what they're doing is joyous for me.
Jeff, you mentioned football. One last battle, the Bronze Stalk on Saturday on the road in DeKalb. Is there any chance, I have to ask the question, is there any chance NIU and Ball State link back up in the future, or is it completely off the table now?
No, I think there will be a chance. Certainly now that NIU is going to transition to the Mountain West Conference, that opens up a non-conference opportunity for us down the road. Now, to be clear, as we visit today, Mick, there are no conversations about playing a non-conference game with NIU, but that doesn't mean that won't happen down the line. Non-conference games continue to be contests that are hard to schedule, and for them now to be a regional opponent that is moving conferences, that does open an opportunity for us. So you never say never on that, and it's certainly probably more palatable than one might think. But as of today, no conversations yet about renewing that rivalry or continuing that rivalry.
Excited to see where it goes. Jeff, we will see you on Saturday in DeKalb, right?
Yes, sir. Look forward to it.
Awesome. Appreciate you joining the show always. Thank you so much. We'll talk with you soon.
Thank you, Mick. Go Cards.
That is Director of Athletics Jeff Mitchell joining us live on This Week in Ball State Sports. Never say never, Jeff said. Never say never, but there are no conversations to continue the Bronze Stalk rivalry matchup. So Saturday, the matchup is at 25-25-2. Both teams have won 25 in the all-time series. There's 2 ties in there. There's a lot to play for on Saturday, including for NIU. They've only won 1 game. They're 0-3 in the league, so they're trying to pick up win number 1 as well. All right, that does it for this Thursday morning, October 23rd on This Week in Ball State Sports. Thank you to Jeff, Cam, and Coach Uremovich for joining us live on the show, and to Leslie Griffin for producing. I'm Mick Tidrow saying so long. We'll talk with you next week on This Week in Ball State Sports.